Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, so your boy is still playing hurt, okay? I'm still not feeling the best. My voice is coming and going. Again, hopefully it makes it through this entire episode. Last episode, I actually had to cut and stop because my voice kept cracking, but I was able to finish it. Let's hope I get through this one in a single pop. Okay, we're going to take a look at Pete Carroll's press conference. We're going to take a look at the PFF guys, Wasserman and Sigma, to see what they had to say about the numbers coming out of the Week 3 matchup between the Raiders and the Commanders. A lot of this stuff is going to really surprise you, and some of it might not. There's a couple things that just don't pass the eye test, okay? And one thing that we need to realize, it's not an excuse, but it's a factor. We were coming off a short week. They were coming off of basically a glorified bye week, a mini bye week. That's a factor, but it's not a determining factor. It was also brought to my attention looking at some stats. This is the second time that the Commanders in 3 games this season have rushed for over 200 yards. So this team, this is what they do, okay? They're one of the best. They're one of the final 4 teams last season for a reason. It's not just Jayden Daniels. They're a really good team altogether. That doesn't take away from the things that the Raiders need to fix. We got a lot to fix, Raider Nation, and it needs to start right now. I don't know how long we could continue to go on blindly believing the words without improvement. I understand having a hiccup here and there. I don't understand how Alex Kappa is still on the field. I just don't get it. He was the worst rated player on the entire team. He gave up something ridiculous. Let me get this up for you guys. Okay, so Alex Kappa had a PFF grade of 48, which was the worst for the Raiders in Week 3. He allowed 7 pressures, 5 hurries, and 2 quarterback hits on his own. That's not including getting absolutely demolished in the run game, missing on blocks, blocking the wrong guy, double teaming on a lineman and letting a linebacker in free. These are a lot of things that Alex Kappa just, I don't know. I chalked up his last season was so poor because he was on the injured list twice. He was on injured reserve 2 times last year. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's hurt because every year before that, he was a top 20 guard in the league. It just seems like he doesn't have it anymore. And for us to be continuing to just trot him out there, like how bad is Jackson Powers Johnson? How bad is Caleb Rogers? How bad is Charles Grant? How bad are those guys that we continue to trot out Alex Kappa these past 2 weeks to just get absolutely annihilated? There's a lot of different peripheral stats that make a bigger picture when you put them all together, and we're going to get to that in the PFF portion of the show. All right, without further ado, let's get to Pete Carroll, see what he has to say about this dog shit performance they did against the Commanders.
This is for
Facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
You guys are here.
Some emails need to be sent.
Big facts.
So,
guys.
so people, the offensive line, you looking at any potential changes, or you gonna go with what you have?
we're working on some stuff. We want to see JPJ come back to action and get back involved. We have to, in all phases of it, we got to get off the football better and make more of the running game. There's not enough happening there to act on the play pass game, and we're just not getting enough. So we just got to keep working it. We got the guys we got, and there's, and we need to keep developing and keep building on it.
So would that be competition at the right guard spot or the entire line, possibly?
We're working at the right guard spot. Our young guys they'll get their turn sometime, but they're not ready yet. So we have what we have, and we got to make our guys do better, and we got to fit it together better than we have.
Pete, last week in terms of the Chargers game, you said that you were not going to basically scrap the film. I'm curious as to what is that differentiating factor between when you decide to do that versus
I was basically not going to what?
Move past the film, like you weren't going to scrap
idiotic.
the film. You said that after the Chargers game.
Yeah. What did I mean by scrap the film? I'm not.
Yeah.
Like throw it away.
Yeah, like you didn't want to just move past it. I was curious as to if there
we're at such an early stage of developing of our team that we have to keep building. We have to go through the hard stuff, learn the hard way, learn the hard lessons. Yeah, it's a thought. You throw the film out and don't look at it. But we have too much to teach and too much to learn, and so this is just part of the process, And it would have been nice to get 2 wins out of these 3 or get them all, but it didn't happen yet. So we've got to keep working at every phase of our game. We really, we didn't turn it around from Monday night relative to how they did. They had the big break and they took advantage of it. I overdid it. I tried to make sure that we had our legs. I feel like I didn't do the right decision making to get us right. And because fundamentally we did not play as well as we have. And so, it just happens. You got to take a shot at it. That game coming Monday night or after a Thursday nighter for the other team has historically been very, very difficult. And that's the schedules. We got to play it, and we need to respond better.
Last week we were talking about Geno kind of taking what the defense gives him with Trey Tucker's performance. Do you believe that was Geno kind of taking what the defense gave him, or do you think that Trey just watching the film just had an incredible game and was just getting over separation? How would you see that?
No, it's a combination. Geno really did get back on track, and he played like he plays. The week before was something different, and it was great to see him come back like that. He took advantage of Trey and his opportunities. Trey was fortunate on a couple opportunities. The concept really fit the concept of their defense. He got behind him a couple times. We didn't get him a couple times too. There was other opportunities that we could have gone to him. So Trey took advantage of it. Geno was on point, and there was some real nice calls there to get him open for the touchdowns. Trey's had a really good start to this season, and he's been very consistent. He's come through in big ways, and it's just really indications of more to come. We got to keep going to him because he's making things happen.
What do you think the issues are special teams?
Well, I go back to the whole team, and that's why this is my responsibility. The whole team fundamentally did not play well. They did. I'm going to give it to Danny too. I thought his team played exceedingly well in all phases, and Larry Izzo, their special teams coach, used to be our special teams coach. He got those guys ready to go, and they whipped us on the returns, so it's a hard game, but I'm going to take it. I have to do a better job of getting these guys ready to go in the matchups that we have, regardless, and it showed up in special teams quite clearly. Fundamentals, just being low and leverage and attack and defending blocks and beating the blockers on our coverage, all of that. And it was the too many big plays that lead them to an easy win for them.
Obviously, things didn't go the way that you would like in the secondary, but when you have guys like the receivers that Washington had, how much will that challenge help guys like Caillou and Darren along the season with the receivers that are going to come as well?
Yeah, I thought that the corners did well again. We gave up the double move play. Caillou got whipped on that one. That was a really nice play by them and all. We should have had a chance to stay on top. That was at a time in the game when that's what they're going to do. And unfortunately, we didn't take care of that. Stokes played really well again, and it was great to get Darian out there. It was a clear opportunity to throw him out, and made a couple tackles and looked comfortable in coverage and did like he's been doing in practice. So those guys are developing. We got to make sure we're staying on top. Easy plays are they're killers.
Anything new with Mayer?
No updates on that yet. We'd love to have Michael get back out there. We don't know if he'll be able to or not.
Otherwise, pretty healthy from the game, right?
Yeah, we came out okay. We've been, that health has been one of our strong points.
How do you keep the players really locked in and focused and not get discouraged by an outcome like that, knowing they want and expect more?
This is all I've ever known. This is what you do, and you have to deal with it. And we have really clear messaging from the beginning to deal with challenges and all of that. We also have tremendous leadership and from our club in the locker room. Maxx couldn't be more a part of the messaging and being vocal and challenging guys and to play up. Maxx has played extraordinary football right off the bat, which we expected, but his leadership has been even better. And so it's with that. It's leadership, it's direction, it's system, it's enduring the setbacks and coming back out of them. And that's we've got to keep building hope that it's available, and that's my job. See ya.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy thing for Pete Carroll to do. It's not going to be easy. This is something that is fundamentally at the lowest level, at the lowest point, is broken. The foundation is broken of this offensive line, and the defense, I think, was getting away with it with a little bit of smoke and mirror play. When they played against a real legit team, there was no doubt who the better team was on offense, on defense, on special teams. And it was the Washington Commanders, regardless of who was out there playing, the entire team itself. I said it yesterday, and I said it the day before. It's very difficult. You can't fix 10 years of mismanagement, 10 plus years of mismanagement with a Hail Mary signing of a head coach. You can get better, you can make steps, but ultimately you have to get a lot of these things right. And it looks like we got Eric Stokes right. He looks really good. We got Devin White, looks like a great signing. So does Jamal Adams, looks like an amazing signing. Well, Alex Kappa didn't work out. And when you're relying on a lot of free agents to come in and you're not paying these guys a ton of money, you're not paying these guys, you're going to have, those studs and duds. And for every stud, you're going to have a dud. Alex Kappa's a dud. He's a dud. I don't see it. To me, it's not a will thing, or it's more of a skill thing. He's not a dumb guy. He's a vet. He knows what to do. He's just getting whipped. And it's very difficult to fix getting your ass handed to you. People have been asking me, a lot of guys have been messaging me, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. I want you guys to keep doing that. But messaging me on the message board, messaging me and DMing me on my Twitter, on my Instagram, and on TikTok even. And they're like, yo, how do we fix this? What do you think we should do? One of my buddies actually just my boy Rafi that I went to the game with last season. He hit me up, like, how do you fix this? Like, you watch the tape, how do you fix it? And I said, you know what? A lot of times the fix is moving on. If I had it my way, I'd say, you know what? Jackson Powers Johnson would put you at center. Because Jordan Meredith, although he's very technically sound, he's just small, man. And unless you do like a really heavy outside zone scheme where you're really moving these defensive linemen side to side and you're cutting angles and this and that, and you're getting to second levels, your size as a Jordan Meredith being a little bit smaller is going to hurt you. And he's just getting out-muscled by some of these guys. Like Payne just abused him a few times. And so I say Jackson Powers Johnson at center. If Charles Grant has any sparkle of he might be ready to rock, you throw him at right tackle, and you have Meredith, Rogers, Parham, Glaze battle it out for those 2 guard spots. Because we need guys that can go out there and do both. In the NFL nowadays, you need to be able to do both. You can't just be a quick technician guy. You also got to be a bully. And if you guys saw my tape with Charles Grant, he's a bully. He has it in him. Okay? So there's that bully part. He has great feet. He's a little bit undersized, but hopefully, his footwork and everything can slow some of these guys down where he's not getting completely annihilated like these guys are up the middle. We got to try something different, man. Keep doing the same thing over and over again, saying we got to get better, we got to get better, we got to get better. That's just not going to work. It's not going to work anymore. We're going to be a quarter of the way through the season after next week. That's going to be a quarter of you have to know what you're going to do and know your personnel. After week 4, you should be locked in. This is my personnel right now. These are the guys that I know, barring injury, are going to be my starters. Do we have that? I don't know. It's a tough one. Because ultimately, what can we hang? Like I was talked about yesterday, what can we hang our hat on? We thought maybe we could hang our hat on our defense, but then the defense gives up 34 points, and we thought maybe our special teams were going to be solid. We gave a opening kickoff down to the 27-yard line, and we gave a punt return for a touchdown. The offense looked like it was clicking week 1. Week 2 was awful, and week 3, we had 2 late fourth quarter games already over touchdown drives, which is fine, but I'm not going to hang my hat on that. We had 10 points through 3 quarters against a team that was when they were trying to stop us. The fourth quarter, they were just trying to slow us down. They weren't really trying to stop us. They just didn't want us to score quickly. We did anyway once, but still. The issue that we're running into here is we need to handle this team like it's what it is, a young team with a lot of unproven players. Now, we have a lot of older players who are trying to, have a chip on their shoulder, who are trying to kind of get their name back in there, but we got to treat the team the same way. I think, like Pete Carroll said, taking it easy on this team going into this week to kind of save their legs, it backfired. Because when the time came to strap the pads on and go 100%, they were just a step slow. And it showed. And it's live and learn. You would think that a 74-year-old coach who's been coaching 50 years wouldn't make that mistake. I don't think he's going to make it again, but there's got to be some changes made. So to get a deeper look into what's been happening with this team, let's take a look at what the guys at PFF had to say, and hopefully it'll shed a little bit more light on what's going on with this Raiders team.
The Commanders won this game 41-24. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. Kind of a coin flip game, especially with Marcus Mariota starting instead of Jayden Daniels. But, man, did they put it on him. On the Raiders side of things, wide receiver Trey Tucker was their top-graded player with, what did he have? Like 8 catches, like 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yep. It's just an unbelievable day from Trey Tucker. I saw former PFF great Ian Hartitz. He's still a great. He's just not working for PFF anymore. Said basically the quietest $8.45 and 3 touchdowns game you'll ever see in your life from Trey Tucker there.
I'm sure there's one sicko somewhere out there that played him in fantasy.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
One person 100%. Has to be out there that did it.
Tight end Brock Bowers next on the list with an 84.0. Offensive tackle Colton Miller, a 74.2. Cornerback Jonah Laiulu with a 72.0. Defensive tackle Thomas Booker with a 70.9, and then Geno Smith an 84.2. Anytime Geno has an 84.2, I figured that the Raiders are probably going to win that football game, but they did not. So why did they not win this game, Dalton?
They did not because, well, the obvious answer is they gave up 41 points, and they still have a major talent deficiency on their defense. It's that simple. 49.9 defense grade as a team in this game. Washington at 7.7 yards per play. 9 of their 11 drives went into Raider territory. Marcus Mariota was fantastic. And look, the Raiders are playing ever so slightly better defensive football because they're playing just a little more fundamentally sound than last year. But at the end of the day, when you're playing an offense like this, you need premier talent to stop it. This year, they have the 4th lowest graded defense in the NFL. They had the lowest coverage grade in the NFL last year. It's not much better this year. They only have 2 players through 3 games who have played at least 20 snaps and have at least a 70 PFF grade.
On defense?
Yes. One's
Maxx,
right, and he's only at about a 72, which is below his standard.
It can't be the linebackers because they were bad this week.
It could be.
Oh, is it Jamal Adams?
It's Jamal.
Okay, no, Jamal Adams wasn't bad this week. Yeah, so Jamal Adams, the other one.
Think about it this way: this defense through 3 games. And credit to Jamal Adams and the comeback. We've covered that a lot, and he's been great.
Yep.
Jamal Adams is by far their highest graded defensive player. That's where we're at with this Raiders defense.
All due respect.
All due respect, absolutely. Position switch and all.
Yeah.
But what that says about the Raider defense, especially if Maxx Crosby, for if it's the health, if it's the surgery he had at the end of last year, whatever. If Maxx Crosby's not dominant, there's not another player on this defense really capable of being dominant right now. This is what's going to happen against really good offenses. And their first 2 weeks, look, they kept them in games. The New England game, they only gave up 10. They only gave up 20 to the Chargers. They were decent in that game. But long-term over a 17-game season, you start to see the Raiders just lack talent on defense outside of Maxx Crosby.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Raiders' run game, which is a major issue for this team right now. I think there were a lot of debates when draft season was rolling around and the NFL draft was rolling around of like, hey, what do the Raiders do with their pick in the top 10? Do they take an offensive lineman? Do they take a skill position player? Do they take somebody on defense? And we talked a lot, if we focused on the offensive side of the ball, we talked about, okay, Ashton Jeanty being an option for them, certainly. And it was like, do you draft Ashton Jeanty or maybe do you go for an offensive lineman? And I think that our case for not going with an offensive lineman is they were pretty good last year. They weren't the best offensive line. They weren't a top 10 offensive line, but like they were getting better. They were taking steps towards being a good offensive line with some young pieces there that you could have expected to take another step this season, and the Raiders just naturally being better on the offensive line. That has not happened, specifically in run blocking. This is one of the least effective run blocking units in the NFL. Jeanty had 17 carries for 63 rushing yards in this game. He had 1 yard before contact in this game. 1. He has negative 2 yards before contact on the season, which is 29th out of 30 eligible running backs when you get, I think the minimum snap count is like 50 or something for running backs. It's just, the offensive line is not doing Jeanty any favors at all whatsoever.
Right.
And I think that we need to remember that when we're criticizing Ashton Jeanty, that even the best backs out there there is only so much they can do. So even the best running back in the NFL will struggle behind an offensive line that cannot block for them, especially in the way that the Raiders' offensive line can. So I want everybody just to understand this. Ashton Jeanty's going to be fine. He's not Trent Richardson. I think that it's crazy that people who are like, man, like he can't even produce. I think that people, when they look at how Ashton Jeanty's not able to produce, are thinking that the Raiders' offensive line is playing similarly to what it did last year. They're not. They're not blocking the same. It's been a rough start to the season. Can it get better? Absolutely. Should it get better? Honestly, absolutely, given what they were able to do last year. But I just think everybody needs to stop having a three game sample size with Ashton Jeanty without correctly viewing things like yards before contact averages, run blocking grades, how often they are positively and negatively grading in the run game. That's how you can have the real conversation about Ashton Jeanty 3 weeks in. Don't cite the carries and the overall yards and the lack of touchdowns or whatever it is. You got the run game specifically, guys. It has to be contextual. You have to bring all the context into it.
The guys hit it right on the head, man. There's a lack of talent on this team, especially on the defensive side. When you pretty much purge your entire second and third level of your defense, you're going to have some growing pains. Are the pieces better? Are they going to get better as the season goes along? I believe they will. But you have a lot of guys who are young, who are in spots where they've never been before. Kyle Blue Kelly, supremely talented. He has all the physical traits you want in a cornerback in the NFL. But he's fresh. He's new. Even these brand new first-round corners, they're eased in a little bit. They have some veterans around them. There's really not a lot of guys to really take away from his playing time or really give him some looks and to play along with him, because there's really not a lot of guys that we have that have a lot of experience out there. He is one of the more experienced corners that we have. You know, you have Darian Porter out there who's getting some more run and getting better, but he's not quite there yet. We got rid of everyone in the secondary pretty much starting-wise except for Isaiah Polamau. Linebacker-wise, we're brand new starters. The guys who are playing major minutes, we're all brand new. That I can understand them taking a little bit of time to get going. The defensive line, inexcusable. Inexcusable for this defensive line to play the way they have, to allow 200 yards plus rushing, and knowing that that's what the team wanted to do, knowing they didn't have Jayden Daniels, knowing they were going to play pretty much the way they did. The first drive, they didn't throw the ball once. It was all runs, those 27 yards for the touchdown. And we just didn't get it done on the defensive line. The offensive line is a deeper issue. I think it starts from the top. I think that Chip Kelly may have been a waste of money. I don't see us really having an identity offensively. The offensive line is in shambles. Brendan Carroll, I don't have a problem with nepotism as far as hiring somebody you know or hiring family members. I have a problem with nepotism keeping somebody their job. And Brendan Carroll, as of right now, has not done one thing to warrant keeping his job. If he's the main call or one of the main calls to move Jackson Powers-Johnson from center for whatever reason, okay, instead of working with him, that's one thing. To not play him when he's cleared to play this last week, what did he do? He was cleared. He practiced, right? He cleared concussion protocol. And you put Kappa in there, and the guy that you put in there instead of Jackson Powers-Johnson was your worst graded player. Terrible move. What are we going to do moving forward? How are we going to fix this? How is Brendan Carroll going to fix this? Can he fix? Does he know how to fix this? When you have a young running back and you have a young offensive line, because look, you have a couple of guys, a few guys out there that are still on their first contracts. Everyone except for Colton Miller is still on their first contract. That was starting at least. Alex Kapp, I'm not counting him. He shouldn't be starting. But the other guys, Parham, Meredith, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and Glaze, those guys are all really young. So you're going to have a rookie running back and a young offensive line, and then you're going to get a first-time offensive line coach. If it works, great. But if it doesn't, when are you going to cut the cord, man? When are you going to cut the cord? And these guys said it. For all of you guys who are saying that Ashton Jeanty's a bum, he's a bust, we shouldn't have drafted him, He has, what was it, -1 yards before contact? Or -1 for the game, -2 yards before contact for the season. There's not much guys can do with that. When on average they're getting touched 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The fact that he's doing what he's doing is a near miracle. If he had any type of offensive line in front of him, he'd be crushing it, and the numbers show it. Big changes are needed, man. Big changes are needed, and we're coming to the point now. Once we get past this 4th week, it's all about growing. It's not about learning anymore. We should have learned everything that we need to learn about our team these first 4 weeks, and we're about growing from here. If we do another stinker, it's going to be really bad moving forward, because now you're questioning the coaching staff. You're questioning Pete Carroll. Does he know what he's doing? Does he have, the foresight to be able to make the tough decisions where they need to be made? We'll find out. But I'm not giving up just yet, because it is very early. We win against the Bears and we're 2-2. I think people looking at the schedule before the season started, and you're saying, okay, we got on the road, we got the Patriots. At home, we got the Chargers. On the road, we got the Commanders. At home, we got the Bears. If we go 2-2, I can see that. And if we do that, then we do that, and we just move on from there. But we got to go out and get it done. And it needs to start with the being prepared to hit, being prepared for the speed, being prepared for the action, for the pop. Because right now, the way we came out, if we come out like that again, this is not a good look for this team. And it's not a good look for Pete Carroll specifically. But we have another test to come against the Bears. And they came off a big win against the Cowboys, man, on the road. So they're going to be hungry for another one. They're not going to be a pushover, but I still think we can get it done. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel, besides doing nothing, just watch the video. On top of that, Shield Society, you know what it is. Membership, $5 a month. You want to do it? Great. If not, that's great too. You get the videos right away. You don't have to wait for them to be scheduled to release. You also get the watch party live with me, my analysis, my takes, my live play-by-play, and also the chance to do it yourself. If you ever want to be involved and do your own commentary and do your own comments and analysis, you can do that on the Shield Society watch parties. Again, it's only $5 a month. If you want to do it, I'll see you guys there. All right, one more thing, guys. I need you guys to please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.